Chaya Sarah. The Torah, in its opening verses, explains to us that Sarah died in Hebron, and Abraham came. Lisbod l'Sarah v'livkota, to eulogize Sarah and to weep over her. That's very strange. Usually one weeps and then eulogizes. In Abraham's case, it seems to be the opposite. First he eulogized and then he wept. I would suggest that then he wept for a second time. Certainly he wept initially. Abraham and Sarah are the first real couple discussed in the Bible. They worked together, the souls which they together made in Haran. Sarah was very brilliant, and God even says to Avram, because she was a greater prophetess than Abraham was a prophet, according to our sages, whatever Sarah says to you, listen to her, including banishing Ishmael. So Sarah was a very important person in his life. But as the case of many husbands and wives, very often the people who are closest to us and even most critical to us day to day, we sometimes even take for granted. And when Abraham began to eulogize Sarah, and he thought through everything that she did and everything that he did because of her, I think he wept again. Because retrospectively, while things were happening, they were doing things together, he didn't really recognize the importance of her role. But in retrospect, he realized it very well and truly wept. How do I know this to be the case? It's a simple question of mathematics. Abraham was 175 when he died. The difference in age, Genesis 17:17, the difference in age between Abraham and Sarah was 10 years. Abraham was 10 years older than Sarah. Abraham was 100 when Yitzchak was born, and Sarah was 90. Hence, Sarah died at age 127. Abraham was then age 137. He began his ministry at age 75. So his entire ministry was from age 75 to age 137. Now Abraham lived 38 years after Sarah died. And when you look carefully at Parashat Chaya Sarah, one thing is indubitably clear. During those 38 years, Abraham was still in full vigor and strength. He even married and had sons and daughters. The Bible recounts that. However, not once in those 38 years does God visit Abraham or present to him a mission. Not once in those 38 years does something occur in the life of Abraham that causes our parshanim, our commentaries to say, Ma'aseiv avot siman levanim, what happens to the patriarchs and matriarchs are going to happen to their future descendants. There were no acts of significance under God and God's guidance that Abraham does without Sarah. And this is an amazing phenomenon. It means that the greatness of Abraham was truly dependent upon the activities of Sarah. The only thing that Abraham does is try to find a wife for Yitzchak, for Isaac, his son. Clearly because he understands how critical a wife is. And here again, he doesn't even do it by himself. He sends Eliezer, his trusted servant, to do it. What emerges from this picture is that Abraham was the great prophet because Sarah was even the greater prophetess. That Abraham was the important patriarch because Sarah was the crucial matriarch. A very important message and a very important lesson. And how important it is for us not to take for granted in life those who are closest and most important to us. Shabbat Shalom.